Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, stared at the ceiling, and suddenly felt this massive rush of energy to completely change your life? You tell yourself, tomorrow is the day. I am going to wake up early. I am going to work hard. I am going to chase my dreams, and I am not going to waste a single second. And you actually do it for about 3 days. Then, the excitement fades. The alarm goes off. It is cold outside. You feel tired, and you hit the snooze button. Who's like that? You're back to square one. Why does this happen to almost all of us? It happens because we have been sold a beautiful lie. We have been told that we need to feel motivated to take action. But the harsh reality is, waiting for motivation is the quickest way to fail. If you look closely at highly successful people, you will notice a common pattern. In fact, if you search around, you will find one of the most viral and life-changing messages on the internet, titled, "Discipline is more important than motivation." And there is a profound reason why millions of people deeply connect with that exact phrase. Because deep down, we all know the truth. Motivation is like a matchstick. It flares up, it burns bright, and it makes you feel warm for a moment, but it burns out in just a few seconds. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a heavy brick furnace. It takes time to build. It takes hard work to heat up. But once it starts burning, no storm can blow it out. Let me share a simple but powerful story with you that perfectly illustrates this. In a quiet valley, there lived a young man named Arthur. Arthur wanted to become a master wood. He had a grand vision of building beautiful, intricate furniture that people from all over the world would travel to buy. When he first got this idea, his motivation was through the roof. He went to the market, bought the most expensive carving tools, cleared out his old garage, and spent hours sketching his designs. For the first 2 weeks, Arthur worked day and night. He barely slept. He was fueled by pure passion and excitement. But then, winter arrived. The mornings became freezing cold. His fingers were stiff. The wood felt unusually hard to cut, and his initial excitement started to wear off. One morning, his alarm went off at 5. He looked at the frosty window, pulled the warm blanket over his head, and whispered to himself, "I do not feel inspired today. I will just carve tomorrow when I am in the right mood." Tomorrow became the next day. The next day became next week. Months passed, and Arthur's expensive tools sat in the corner of his garage, completely covered in dust. He kept waiting for that magical feeling of motivation to return, but it never did. One afternoon, Arthur took a walk through the town and passed by the shop of an old watchmaker named Elias. Elias was famous in the valley. He was in his late 70s, yet he arrived at a shop at exactly 6 in the morning, every single day. He had not missed a day of work in 40 years. Arthur walked into the shop and saw the old man sitting at his desk, carefully adjusting the tiny gears of a pocket watch with a magnifying glass. Arthur asked him, "Mr. Elias, how do you do it? How do you stay so motivated every single day for decades?" "I tried to build a business, but I lost my motivation after a month." "What is your secret?" The old watchmaker stopped his work, looked at Arthur, and smiled gently. He picked up a beautiful golden pocket watch and opened the back, revealing the dozens of tiny, moving gears inside. He said, "Arthur, do you see these small gears? They do not spin because they are excited. They do not tick because they feel inspired. They move because they are connected, and they have a duty to perform. If this watch only worked on the days it felt motivated, it would be a terrible piece of trash. My secret is not motivation. My secret is that I stopped caring about how I feel. I do not ask myself if I am in the mood to work. I simply sit at this desk, and I start. The action creates the momentum, not the other way around. My discipline is my absolute freedom." Arthur realized in that very moment that his biggest mistake was letting his emotions dictate his actions. He was acting like a broken watch, only ticking when the weather was nice and his mood was perfect. He went home, dusted off his tools, and made a firm promise to himself. He would no longer wait for the perfect mood. He set a simple rule. Every single day, no matter how tired he was, no matter how cold it was outside, he would carve for just 20 minutes. That was his non-negotiable daily discipline. Some days, those 20 minutes felt like pure torture. E hated Italiano. But most days, once he started the work, he found himself lost in the wood for hours. By the time the next winter came around, Arthur had completed an entire collection of stunning wooden furniture. He did not build his success on motivation. He built it on the quiet, unglamorous power of daily discipline. This story perfectly highlights why we must completely shift our mindset if we want to achieve greatness in life. The power of daily discipline is what truly separates the dreamers from the achievers. When you rely on motivation, you give all of your power away to your emotions. You are essentially saying that your future depends entirely on whether you wake up feeling good or feeling bad. But human emotions are incredibly unstable. You cannot control when you will feel sad, stressed, overwhelmed, or exhausted. If your actions are tied to your feelings, your progress will constantly go up and down like a roller coaster. You will take 2 steps forward on a good day and 3 steps back on a bad day. Discipline is the ultimate act of self-love and self-respect. It is the solid bridge between your current reality and your biggest dreams. Discipline means making a promise to yourself and actually keeping it, regardless of the circumstances. It is the ability to say no to short-term comfort in exchange for long-term greatness. When you are disciplined, you do not negotiate with your weaknesses. So, how do you actually build this kind of unshakable discipline? How do you become the person who gets things done, even on the hardest days? Step number 1 is to start ridiculously small. We often fail because we try to change our entire life overnight. We say, I am going to work out for 2 hours every day, read 50 pages, and wake up at 4 in the morning. That is not discipline. That is self-sabotage. Your brain gets overwhelmed and shuts down. Instead, make your goal so small that it is impossible to fail. If you want to exercise, commit to doing just 10 push-ups a day. Step number 3 is to use the 5-minute rule. When you feel absolutely zero desire to work on your goal, tell yourself that you will only do it for 5 minutes. That is it. Just 5 minutes. More often than not, the hardest part is simply starting. Once you overcome that initial friction and begin working, momentum naturally takes over, and you will want to keep going. But even if you stop after 5 minutes, you still win, because you chose action over an excuse. Your future self is watching you right now. The life you want to live 5 years from now is being determined by the choices you make today. When the alarm goes off tomorrow morning, do not debate with yourself. Do not hit the snooze button. Put your feet on the floor and start moving. Become a person of action. You possess a fire inside of you that is capable of achieving incredible things. But that fire needs the steady fuel of discipline to keep burning. Motivation will get you to the starting line, but discipline is the only thing that will carry you to the finish line. If this message connected with you today, and you are ready to stop making excuses and start building true discipline, I want you to hit that like button and make a commitment to yourself. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on the mindset tools you need to completely elevate your life. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And remember to always keep your inner fire burning strong. This is Daily Fire Mindset, and I will see you in the next video.